Folks, this is all the fruit. I'm here in the little village of St. Martin in the most amazing garden I've seen anywhere in Germany. And I've seen lots of gardens, private gardens, city parks, botanic gardens, but this is by far the craziest. We are here at the Weinstraße, maybe the mildest and warmest area of Germany. And yeah, we have lots of people here who are pushing the zone. Some are pushing it too much and their stuff freezes. And some, with the help of God, they push it all the way from Israel or Palestine to Germany. So a priest of this church had the idea, let's collect everything which is mentioned in the Bible, every plant mentioned in the Bible, and plant it in a German village around the church. And it looks like a miracle, but most of the stuff which nobody ever before tried planting in Germany survived. So here you will see fruit trees which, before I found this garden, I thought are completely impossible to cultivate in Germany. This garden is situated around the village church in the beautiful village of St. Martin, maybe the most beautiful village around the Weinstraße in the Palatinate I know. They have tons of beautiful tourist villages here, but this has the most beautiful old village center, most beautiful church, beautiful castle, and of course the great biblical garden. What do they cultivate in this garden? Here is a pretty sizable chest tree. Why is it called chest tree? Or also monk's pepper? Well, nowadays it's used to give women a healthy female hormone balance. In the Middle Ages it was used to give monks a healthy female hormone balance. Female is the operative word. You spice your food with this type of pepper and your life doesn't become spicy but really peaceful and devoted to God. Beautiful plant as an ornamental, very good for bees and very good to keep your boyfriend really calm and docile. Next we have the Spanish broom, Spartium juncteum, a fabaceae plant which is native to the Mediterranean and which obviously in Spain and other Mediterranean countries is being used for brooms. Next, here we have the fig tree. Figs are nothing special in this part of Germany, but of course they are also really typical for biblical settings. Well, talking about biblical settings, you remember this part where they put a crown of thorns on Christ's head? Well, it was made from the spiniest plants they knew in biblical areas, the Christ's crown, Paliurus. This is Paliurus spina Christi, which scientists have identified as the most probable plant for Christ's crown. As you can see, it's really spiny. The thorns are in pairs. There is always a straight one and a hooked one. So they look like this. And they work like a fish hook. Either you will be hooked on this one or on this one. There is no escape. I've been caught into shrubberies of this stuff and there is no way to get out except by leaving a few pieces of your clothing and your skin there. Here the pomegranate, also a very popular biblical plant with the still green fruit. Here are some little palm trees. This is most probably the dwarf palm, Chamaerops humilis, also very typical for dry Mediterranean areas. The acanthus plant, which is the original inspiration for all those Greek and Roman columns. As you can see, the plants do really well here. For example, the pomegranate is even producing offspring. Fruit are falling to the ground and the seeds are producing little pomegranate plants. I mean, this could also be a sucker from the roots. I'm not 100% sure, but I think that it's from a seed. Let's go upstairs so we can look down on some of the most interesting fruit trees in the garden. Here we have an olive, and this is not the wild olive, but an olive cultivar, which produces sizable olives. every year, and they also get ripe quite nicely. Wild olives, you can cultivate them more or less in this climate, but olive cultivars which grow to a good size and produce fruit regularly are something rare. Pity that the pistachio tree doesn't seem to have produced any fruit this year. This is Pistacia vera, the true pistachio tree. It does produce fruit in our climate, but since most people have only one plant instead of two, they don't get pollinated, so no edible seeds. Here, this should be Juniperus phoenicea, the Phoenician juniper. Well, the Phoenicians come from an area right north of Palestine, so all those juniper berries have a lot of sugar, but they're unfortunately also very tart and bitter. That's why people mostly don't eat them raw, but make them into gin. The name gin is derived from juniper. You can make gin basically from every juniper species. Yeah, the church is really old and beautiful. Also the statue of St. Martin. Also the little village is really cute. So if you happen to be in this part of Germany, definitely check it out. Here we have another species of pistachio. This should be Pistacia terebinthus. The turpin, no, this should be Pistacia lentisculus, I think, the mastix tree. Mastix is a sap, also mentioned in the Bible. Here, purslane, the most popular summer vegetable or salad of Greeks, Romans, and a lot of other Mediterranean peoples, because it grows really well in summer. We had a very dry and hot summer, but it needs a rain every couple weeks to grow well and to stay juicy and healthy. In Germany, it thrives only in the warmest areas. Here we have some, I think it's called arrowweed in English, Asclepias syriaca. Well, suggests that it comes from Syria, which is also north of Palestine. Here we have the sweet acacia or sweet locust tree. Yeah, should be the sweet acacia, Acacia caro. The northernmost place I've seen this before was Malta. And Malta is south of Sicily, and Sicily is south of southern Italy. And here this thing grows in Germany, and it didn't freeze back for at least 5 or 6 years, since 2013 at least. Here is an aloe vera. I'm sure this one will freeze back in harsh winters. Here is some limonium. I don't even know where this was mentioned in the Bible. Here, a date palm, Phoenix dactylifera. It also survived a winter or two. Doesn't do very well, but I guess this is maybe due to lack of water. The strawberry tree, Arbutus unedo. This is quite a sizable strawberry tree. They have cut away most of it. It was even bigger, as you can see here. It was pretty big, but it blocked this whole passage, which is at least 3 meters wide, so they cut it back. So, yeah, in a couple months it will bear a lot of quite tasty fruit. Well, here's an agave americana. A couple years ago, this agave had a sign aloe vera. The agave is from America, as the name suggests, agave americana, so it doesn't really belong in a biblical garden, but we will allow it here since it's quite an interesting plant to cultivate in Germany outdoors. This will freeze, this will die completely in harsh winters. Last winter was pretty mild, but the winter with minus 10 or 15 degrees, it's not gonna survive this. Here we have capers. This is where those little capers, those little buds which I use the spice, come from. Those plants are really tiny. They will not produce capers this year, but if they manage to survive a couple more years, we'll be able to harvest capers in Germany. Retamaretam, another Mediterranean to Near East bush. I actually forgot the English name, but I'm pretty sure this was also in the Bible. Another aloe vera. As I said, this will die back in harsh winters, but it seems like this winter it was outdoors and survived it. This winter was very mild. What do we have here? Zarcoputerium spinosum. I know that it comes from the Levant, like from Palestine, Syria, and those areas. I don't know where it was mentioned in the Bible. It thrives really well here. It even produces lots and lots of fruit. Here they are already too dry. Here again some pistachio tree. Most probably Pistacia lentisculus again. This is some thistle. Is this Mary's thistle or maybe some other thistle? Okay. Well, the ruta plant doesn't look very good. We have better ruta plants around here. Back there is some, this could be the hemp palm from the Himalayas. I don't know what it's doing here. I don't think this is a biblical plant. Here some juniperus. This could be Juniperus funicea too, although it looks a little bit different. Here you can see the juvenile leaves on it, which look more like a lot of those alpine Juniperus species, and here you have the much smaller scale like mature leaves. And here also little fruit. Funny, the other Juniperus which look like Phoenicia had completely mature fruit, well this has really young immature fruit. I think this is another pistachio species, Pistachia atlantica. This is not being used for its fruit, but it also produces a sap which can be traded, and also you can graft the edible pistachio tree on top of it. Yeah, here they say Pistacia atlantica, let's believe them. And here we have Euphorbia caracias, a euphorb from the Mediterranean. I think there were euphorbs mentioned somewhere in the Bible, just not sure where. Here a really small laurel tree. Unmistakable smell of laurel. Let's see what we have here. An almond tree. Most almonds in our area are not almonds but peach almond hybrids, but this could be a real almond tree. Some absinthe. This is what you make the famous drink from, but you can also make a lot of other alcoholic drinks and recipes from it. Oh, this is some of the very numerous I cannot even remember what the family was called, so sorry. Okay, let's forget this. Here we have rosemary, another Mediterranean plant used mostly as a spice, also present in the Bible. Here we have millet, a very common cereal in the Bible, not so common in colder areas, but in this part of Germany there was a millet revolution a couple years ago, so now we have a lot of commercial fields with this stuff. This could be a Spanish broom. It's invasive in this area. This is a Mediterranean species, invasive in Germany. That's climate change for you folks. This is some goji berry. I don't even know where the goji berry was mentioned in the Bible, but probably it was, since it's in this garden. Some really spiny Mediterranean black oak. This could actually be Quercus ilex, the way it looks. Maybe we'll find the label. Here's a more Spanish broom. Here is a Salvia sclerea. I forgot the English name, but I'm sure that this plant was mentioned in the Bible. This must be St. Mary's thistle. I'm pretty sure of it. Here we have a cistus. This tiny bonsai tree is a cistus. This should be oh yeah, here is some more fresh St. Mary's thistle. Young plants, here very young rosettes, and here an old plant which is already dried up. Here some lavender, which has become quite popular in this part of Germany since the climate change. Here some oleander, horribly poisonous. Don't eat this. Don't even use it to make your campfire. Don't even skew your sausages or marshmallows on it. It could be the last thing you will do in your life. Two very iconic Mediterranean flowers, the white asphodelus and the yellow asphodeline, both without flowers right now. Here we have myrtle. In most Romanic languages, myrtle and huckleberries are both called myrtil, myrtillos, myrtilles, because the myrtle has fruit very similar to the huckleberries. But they have a very tangy and raisin-like taste, very different from huckleberries. They look like huckleberries, but they taste very different. Here is a watermelon plant. A staple fruit in hot summers and hot climates like the Mediterranean and Near East climate. Basically, it replaces water in areas where water is not really very clean in hot summers. There is even a small, oh yeah, there is a walnut-sized fruit here. So you can really see that it is a watermelon. I hope you can see the little fruit here between the purslane leaves. And here are the watermelon flowers, so you can see it's a close relative of the cucumber. Let's see what other wonderful plants we have here. Well, all those nice Mediterranean flowers and spices and herbs, I cannot mention them all or the video will be too long. Let's stick to the fruit. Oh yeah, here Boploirum fruticosum. I don't even know where this was mentioned in the Bible. But it seems to be incredibly popular with bees and wasps and other honey-loving animals. Here we have the only orange which you can easily cultivate in our part of Germany, the three-leaf bitter orange. It's not really bitter, at least not the juice. It's rather sour. Three-leaf, well, because the leaves come with three leaflets. Why is it so easily cultivatable in mild parts of Germany? Well, because it loses those leaves in winter and photosynthesizes with its bark, with its branches. That's why it can survive where other citrus cannot survive. Here we have the jujube or Chinese olive. It's still not ripe. The fruit are still really small and most are not even fruit but flowers right now. As you can see here, this jujube tree has quite a lot of fruit in autumn. Pretty nice tree. Very few people know this in Germany, that you can actually produce something similar to dates in Germany. The dried fruit tastes a lot like dates. Here we have giant reed. Well, here it says Phragmites australis, but this is not Phragmites australis, this is Arundodonax. Phragmites australis is the normal reed which is everywhere, which is to be found everywhere around Europe. But this is the giant Arundodonax, because they thought it's Phragmites australis. They cut it back last autumn, that's why it's so puny. Oh no, not last autumn, but 2 years ago. But it's still quite puny. Well, it needs water. Here it hasn't got water. With water, this can grow to about 7 meters, or in rare cases 10 meters in height, and can get more than twice or almost 3 times as thick as those stems here. And basically in the Mediterranean it has been used like bamboo for thousands of years, because bamboo is not native to the Mediterranean. Here we have another strawberry tree. Not even sure if this is Arbutus unedo or Arbutus andrachne, but it's loaded with fruit which will be ripe in autumn. What have we got here? Well, whatever it was, it's dead. And here we have 2 mulberry trees. The black mulberry, really rare, Most mulberries you cultivate in Germany nowadays have black fruit, but they are the white mulberry. This here, which is already out of season, all the fruit are dried up, is the true black mulberry. And here we have a white mulberry, in this case with white fruit. And here are still a couple fruit left. And as you can see, this was a very good year for the white mulberry because the whole ground is covered with mulberries. Nobody harvested those tasty fruit. What a pity. Let's see what we've got here. Some cotton. I guess since this is a biblical garden, this should be the Egyptian cotton, but I cannot tell from this little plant. This should be some more millets. Sorghum. Yeah, looks a lot like sorghum. I don't know if the poppies are here because they're a biblical plant or just because they grow as a more or less a weed here. But yeah, lots of poppies. Not even sure if this is Papaver rös. I think it's rather Papaver dubium, most probably. Here we have a wild olive or oleaster. Nah, it's almost dead, so I'm not sure if you can really see the difference between this one and the olive cultivar I showed you. But this is definitely the wild olive. Here something else has died. This fig tree produces tons of figs, but the first fig harvest, the summer figs, are already gone. Here one of the last ones. This area is warmer even than Heidelberg, so yeah. Right now we have fig season in Heidelberg, but here there's basically nothing. Oh yeah. Oh no. I thought I found one good fig, but no. It's been completely eaten by the birds. But this fig tree produces tons of figs. I think it's the Bananenfeige. The tree grows very slowly and puts all its energy into producing tons and tons of figs. Here we have another watermelon. Nice leaves and flowers, but no fruit yet. Maybe later. Some more of this Silybum marianum, St. Mary's thistle. Oh, look at this. What is this? Ah yes, this is a baby of Silybum marianum. I thought it's a baby of the watermelon, but it's actually a baby of the thistle. So this thistle even manages to propagate itself. Yeah, here is another baby. This is all Silybum marianum. An apple tree. I guess apples are somewhere in the Bible. Well, here they got a very strange ornamental variety of the common laurel tree. Very hard to recognize, except by the smell. And last but not least, the only outdoor carob tree I've ever seen in Germany. It might not look like much, but this tree, which used to be basically the staple of all those eremites in the desert, when they eat locusts, it's possible that they actually ate fruit of the locust trees, and this produces the biggest one. They can get up to like 15 centimeters, so like 5 to 6 inches long, and contain lots and lots of sugars. And this tree, the furthest place north I've seen it before was, I think, at the Riviera. And even there I was surprised it can grow there. But here, folks, it's been growing for several years in Germany, freezing back in very harsh winters, but surviving every time. This is maybe the most amazing success of the biblical garden. Okay, folks, this was the amazing biblical garden of St. Martin. Thumbs up to the great priests and community of this church for cultivating such a wonderful, rare and unique garden, and thumbs up to my beautiful assistant Doro, who had the patience to film this long clip for me. Stay tuned for a lot more fruit videos from the parks and biblical gardens of Germany, and don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe.